And also, I have on the show today, I have Amy from Create Bakery and Gifts. Amy, how you doing today?
Hello, good.
Thank you both for being on. And we're actually going to have Amy's bearded half on as well, Greg. So
hello.
And Diana from Naughty Monk will jump on in just a little bit, too. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank all the listeners out there. You guys have been super supportive. And, yes, I got the Jackass of the Day award to myself yesterday because I did accidentally delete the Calusa interview. So don't worry, guys. Going to be meeting with them again next week. We'll be sitting down talking with Ed and Taylor and maybe even somebody else. Who knows? Maybe I can pull Vic and Jordy in there and get them to talk a little bit if they're around. I know those guys are all very, very busy. But
you get Jason a couple beers in him and he'll start talking too.
Yeah, but he'll probably be doing something important like
possibly.
He'll geek out. Dry hopping. No, he doesn't dry hop. He's got people to do that. But anyways, again, you can follow us on Instagram, the BSN Podcast, at BSN Podcast, on Facebook at BSN Podcast, on Twitter with BSN with BK. And you'll be able to find these episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, just by searching BSN with BK. So, Curtis.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about Naughty Monk, man, and how you got started with these guys.
Well, I came here on vacation about 5 times and just fell in love with Florida. My parents lived right up the street here in Greyhawk Landing.
That's where my parents live, too.
So this was their local watering hole. Last vacation I came here, I was like, all right, I like the place. I like Florida. I like the beaches. I'm going to put my resume out and see who might be interested in giving me a job. I found out that the Monk was actually looking for a head brewer, so really focused my attention on them. Came in, got probably drunker than I should have, talked with Joe, the owners.
That sounds about right.
And while I was on vacation, we had Tommy from Brew Life. He was here brewing on the next day, so he invited me out. And so let's brew a batch, and brewed a batch with him on vacation, and went home and had a job offer next week for him. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Awesome. Congratulations on that. How did you get into beer?
I mean, I've been drinking beer my whole life, like literally. I showed you that picture last night.
Yeah, he did send me a picture last night of him as a little toddler with a Coors in his hand. So,
but the real thing that got me into brewing was I worked at a software company. I used to be a software developer, and there's a website, thinkgeek.com, and one of the things that they had was called Spike Your Juice. And it was like $3, and it said, put this packet in your favorite fruit juice, and 48 hours later, you'll have alcohol. I said, all right, why not? So I went to Walmart. Yeah, went to Walmart, got some apple juice, and put it in there, put the little airlock on, and let it sit for a couple days underneath my kitchen sink, and I had hard apple cider, and I was like, that was way too easy. Like, why have I not been doing this my whole life? So I started experimenting, got some Welch's grape juice, and made some terrible wine. And from there, I said, all right, what else can I ferment? What else can I brew? And got a homebrew kit. Started working under the table at a local homebrew shop on the weekends just for ingredients, and started building kits there. And then I found a local brewery that was just barely opening. They didn't even have anything in yet, so I came and knocked on the door, said I want to work for free. I just want to learn. So I worked there for about 6 months, and then found another local brewery that was actually hiring for a paid gig. Did their assistant brewer for a year, and then that's when I came out here.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, we're super happy to have you in the area, and you're definitely brewing up some good beers, and can't wait to see what else you got coming out, which we'll talk about some of the specialties that you guys do. And I saw some barrels there in the back, so I'd like to talk about what's in those. If you can give a little taste, at least a visual and a taste for everybody's ears here. Now, Amy, how did you get into beer? I see you around all these craft breweries, and I obviously. Not only do you make amazing confections, but you enjoy good beer, which is always good. So how'd you get involved with the beer scene?
So really, Greg got me into the beer scene. We started at World of Beer, probably 6 years ago.
It was a while, yeah.
And it was ciders. That's kind of what I started with. Drank Hefeweizens for a long time until my stomach hurt and I couldn't. And then just kind of ventured out from there. We wanted to see we wanted to go to the source of where the beer was coming from. So then we started visiting breweries, and it just, you
Do you remember the first brewery you ever went to? Greg, do you know?
I think it was Cigar City. I think we were at Cigar City, and this was years ago also.
Maybe even Angry Chair.
Around that, I don't know, but Bob Lorber. You know Bob Lorber?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was when he was still working there giving tours.
Okay.
And it was just a random.
Yes.
It was a random Saturday. He happened to be there. And,
I remember that.
Bob always gave a great tour.
Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, that's awesome. And now I see that you talk a little bit about Create Bakery and what's that mean to you? What is it, and how did you get started doing it?
So Create Bakery was kind of born out of. I used to make gift baskets actually before that, and it turned into maybe I'll make cake pops to put into the gift baskets. And then cake pops turned into, I think I went from that to pies. And then, I wanted to make everything. Cinnamon rolls and coffee cake and cookies.
Best cinnamon rolls in the county's area, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I've been super spoiled at home for a long time.
Yeah.
She's been baking a long time before that. So it was like my little secret for a little bit. Just, I'm going to eat this at home on the weekends.
Your dirty little secret.
So really just a curiosity of, ooh, I want to try to make that. Can I make that? That looks good. Let me try it. So it kind of grew from there. I think that's where the name Create came from. Is I'm curious.
Yeah.
I want to see what
works
can I
and what
can I
doesn't.
do? What works well together, and how can I create it?
So it's basically just a passion and doing something else, and kind of formed into a whole different thing.
I've always liked to create or even kind of tinker. Just I don't know. I like to know how things are put together.
Tinker's such a good word.
Yeah.
Because it definitely works with the brewing side of things, because they're always tinkering around trying to figure out new recipes and different adjuncts they can throw in and go crazy. So I'm sure you're the same way. I know that you always do the staples. You do your chocolate chips and stuff like that. Is there anything recently that you've done that you've been like, I don't know if I'm going to make this happen, and then you made it happen?
Well, the stuffed cookies have been popular for a while, and so I thought, let me see what I can do with some stuffed cookies. So you weigh things out. It's a half-pound stuffed cookie. I brought one with me.
Oh wow! I see it over there on the table, and it's ginormous.
It's a lemon-based cookie with white chocolate chips, and it actually has 2 full-size lemon Oreos inside of the cookie.
Oh wow!
So I've been working on some more of those, yeah, and shipping them. I've been fortunate enough to kind of open an online shop to be able to ship at least the cookies for now. It's a little difficult to ship, things like cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the cookies for sure. So
awesome, fantastic. Yeah. Well, like I said, they are delicious. So definitely, I know that you do some cookie drop-offs. Where do you drop those off at locally?
So locally, we are at Calusa, and we just started at Naughty Monk.
Oh, fantastic!
Yep. And we are also at Corporate Ladder and Arcane.
Oh, awesome.
I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Hidden Springs.
Hidden Springs, yes. Oh, sorry, Hidden
awesome.
Springs.
That's another new one, huh?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So
yeah,
it's going well.
I'm looking forward to trying to get Joe and Dan on the podcast here up at Arcane.
For sure.
I've known those guys for a
that
long
will be
time.
Fun.
Those guys for a long time, and excited to be a part of watching them grow over the years, because I knew them both before they even had Arcane. So now that they have that, and I've watched
like when Joe was over at Rap.
Yeah, and Daniel too.
Yeah.
So watching them form into this whole thing and do what they do, and it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So, Curtis, we were talking about beers and stuff that you guys might have upcoming. Is there anything new coming out in the next? This is going to air tonight. So, is there anything coming up this weekend? Maybe you guys have, or
we got the Pink Poppin'. It's our Pilsner. We've added some pink lemonade mix to it, so that turned out really good.
So you're saying it's poppin' pink pills.
Poppin' pink pills. Yep.
Clever name.
Yeah, it was originally just poppin' pills, and then we decided we'd see if we could put a little lemonade in there and turn it in more of like a shandy like, or
Yeah, I know you just gave me a taste, and it's pre-carbed, so I know you're just transferring over to the bright. and definitely get that nice pink lemonade. It's not overpowering. It's a nice undertone, and definitely a little fruity. So definitely when this comes, you said it should be ready by the weekend?
It should be, yeah.
Oh,
we're carbing it right now, so tomorrow we'll have it kegged up and
perfect,
ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys are in the area of Naughty Monk, so 64 in Lakewood Ranch area, right off of State Road 60 or Lakewood Ranch Boulevard between State Road 64 and State Road 70. Definitely swing by right next to Crowder Brothers Ace Hardware. They're not paying me, but I'm going to tell them their name anyways because they're right here.
Everyone knows where
it's a big building.
It's a big building. So yeah, definitely swing by and try to get some of that. Anything else on tap that's your favorite right now? I know. What are you drinking currently?
Naughty Night Out. It's Imperial Milk Stout. It's brewed with coffee, chocolate, and vanilla.
I think you should probably dip one of those cookies in there.
That would probably be amazing. Yeah,
and go for it.
We did a barrel aged of that back 2 years ago at the Celtic Music Festival.
Ooh.
Or Celtic, however you want to say that. I don't know. Celtic,
yeah.
But we got it in the VIP area, and they had the what's that hamburger place down on 70?
Full Belly?
No, it's Culver's. That's
Culver's.
Culver's, yeah. They had some Culver's. I guess it wasn't ice cream, but frozen yogurt.
They make custard. Yeah.
Custard,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Extra eggs, make it fatty.
We were putting that into the Naughty Night Out barrel aged and making floats. That was so good.
I can believe that.
Sounds good.
Right?
Yeah.
You just need a cookie crumble rim or something with that, you know, or just a cookie on the side to dip in there.
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously, go get a cookie and dip it in there. Maybe we should have brought the cookies a little closer. I want to know how this goes. Have you ever had any of Amy's cookies in the past at all?
No. I've.
Oh, you went straight for the unicorn cookie.
Did. That is a sugar cookie base with the unicorn chips in there.
It kind of matches your hat. He's wearing this great hat right now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Sugar cookie, little Naughty Night Out, milk stout.
Should soak up the beer nicely.
That's pretty good.
He looks kind of happy about it.
Yeah.
For our dip.
You know, that's as we get older. I mean, you know, how many times as a child did you want milk and cookies here and there? You know, or having a bad day and Mom would be like, oh, you know, or Dad would be, it's just some milk and cookies, you know, try to bring a smile on your face.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as adults, we can do it with beer.
Mm-hmm.
I've been known a couple years ago. Well, let's say couple. It's been about probably 10 years now. But I used to get donuts and dunk them into Guinness all the time in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go out drinking at 7 a.m. And that's how we'd start the day. Somebody would swing by the donut shop, pick up donuts, and it was just donuts and Guinness.
That's a low ABV beer, and it's a
good.
thin beer.
Yeah.
It's it's easy to drink.
And everybody thinks that it's something crazy, but it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's dark doesn't mean it's heavy.
Oh yeah.
And so anybody out there that's like, oh, I don't like dark beers, or too heavy for me, you just haven't found the one that's for you yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely something I like to talk about. So Curtis, I know you said you had some barrels, I saw some barrels in the back. I saw some Siesta Key rum barrels. What's in those little guys?
So we're getting ready for our 3rd year anniversary, and so we've got a couple different beers in those rum barrels. We've got our Naughty Night Out, the milk stout. We've got Mad Willie, which is a Belgian triple. We've got Naughty Little Abbey, which is a Belgian strong. We have our barley wine, which is a barley wine, of course.
Oh, fantastic! And all these are going to be available for the anniversary party.
Hopefully.
Awesome.
We just got the bottles in, so this is the first time we're going to be doing bottle conditioning. And so we're hoping to have roughly around 500 bottles total of all the beers.
Fantastic. I believe that's November 16th is what I heard
Correct.
Diana ask me about and tell me about. So I will definitely be here and be a part of it any way I can, as I was last year. Maybe we can even get Amy involved to come out and
I would love to.
Toss some cookies, if you will.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I did see there is something new down the road from all of us here in the Bradenton area, Loaded Cannon Distillery.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I saw one of their barrels back there kind of sneaked in the corner.
Yeah, so they got a Buffalo Trace barrel. They used it for their spiced rum. As soon as they were done with it, they brought it over here, and we've got our Kentucky Common, which is
nice.
Named Triple Crown.
Perfect name.
So that's that we just put that into that barrel yesterday. We won't be bottle aging that one. We will be carbonating it, throwing it up on tap. Now,
is Triple Crown just to give it back to the Kentucky aspect of it, or is it the fact that there's been 3 things inside that barrel at this point?
It's back to Kentucky. When we originally made this recipe, I made it during the Derby. I wanted to kind of do like a mint julep style beer. Found that mint was terrible in it, so it's just a good Kentucky common beer.
I don't think I've ever had a Kentucky common barrel aged before. That sounds interesting.
There's the one that's really popular. It's the Kentucky bourbon.
Oh, I have had that one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know what? I haven't had that one in years. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it slipped my mind.
So same
Very
style
cool.
as that. We originally did with just oak spirals. And so we went and got some bourbon and soaked the oak spirals in bourbon and put that in the stainless steel tanks. But it got the flavor that we wanted, but now we've got a legit bourbon barrel. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Totally awesome. So back to Amy and your cookies. I know, have you ever infused beer or any other liqueurs or anything in with your baked goods?
Yes. It's been a while, but I've made a handful of cupcakes. So you infuse really the beer into the buttercream.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do the same thing into the cupcake itself, but once you bake it, I mean, it kind of, it burns out the alcohol.
Yeah.
And, obviously you can't put too much liquid in it itself. So if you want it really tasted, it's got to be in that buttercream, something you're not going to bake it or cook it out of.
What about a rum cake? You just soak it, right? So
I have never made a rum cake.
I think you should. And
That
plus,
sounds
you get
good.
to drink rum while you're baking.
That's true. Very true.
I've seen rum cakes made like that, but then also with the icing that they drizzle around the top of it, with being infused with the
like
with
a
the rum.
reduction.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
It depends on how much booze you want in it. Yeah.
yeah, it depends on what kind of party you're having,
That's
I guess.
right.
is it
We
similar
have-
to a rum ham?
Yes, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do like a rum bacon cake,
There you go.
something like that, because who doesn't like that savory, salty
Mixed
aspect?
with the sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. God, I just lost a ton of weight being in the hospital and everything. Now I'm like, damn, that sounds really good. I didn't eat. I had a feeding tube for like 2 months, so everything was just through my nose, and it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I don't want to eat real food again because this sucks.
Yeah.
And then I finally ate food again. But now with the big craze that you see out there with CBD right now and THC, is there any plans in the future to maybe infuse some of that into any of your baked goods, or have you thought about that?
Not at this time. I mean, I have thought about it, but I don't have any plans in the future.
Oh, we've talked about it
But
quite a bit. I feel like she and I have talked about it.
We've talked about it,
Yeah.
but there's no real plan. Yeah.
Not yet. Not
Yeah.
until, if Florida becomes sort of a situation with, recreational becomes legal.
That would be a different story.
Yeah, there's a different story. But, yeah.
Yeah.
And-
You don't have the TTB to worry about like we did. So
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they crack down on you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no fun because somebody definitely wants more than just a hemp beer out there.
Well, we
Yes.
did one.
Mm-hmm.
We did a CBD beer on 420 at Oakingstone.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, we got in trouble.
Well, let's just pretend like you didn't do it. It's
Well, they said don't do it again. So
okay.
Oh, it's like a warning, like a slap on the wrist kind of?
Yeah.
Nice enough, I guess. But
I have met some of the people over at the TTB, and some of them are great. Some of them are wonderful people. Some of them aren't there anymore that were wonderful people, and that's sad. But they definitely need to regulate something. Sometimes they go a little overboard. I know I was working with another company at a winery actually, and they came by and they were like, something doesn't seem right here. I was like, everything's fine. I mean, like, literally, here's every piece of paperwork, and they spent days and weeks going through everything, and they're like, no, you're completely right. I was like, I know, it took me forever to put this together because I walked into a situation that everything wasn't together. So but they actually helped me walk through the situation. Drunk stories. Drunk stories. Curtis, what is your most embarrassing drunk moment that you can remember been told about the next day?
remember, I don't know. Yeah, there's plenty of them. I can't pick one off the top of my head, though. I mean, none that I could share.
Oh no, you can share. This isn't regulated.
So in the military, we started a night off I chugged a 350 ml bottle of vodka in one chug and went from there.
That'll get you started.
Got in a few fights. We did some broom sword fights. Threw a guy off a third-story window to see if he could do a paratrooper fall.
Oh. How'd that go?
He did all right.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he survived.
He's around still. Good. Good.
Oh, wow. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
My most embarrassing drunk story is some people have already heard this story, and it's one I don't like to tell because it happened at Disney. So
I think what we should do is put it out there for the world to hear that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I don't tell the story because as well as my best friend does, because he was the one that kind of took care of me that evening. But my 23rd birthday, a couple of friends and myself went to the House of Blues in downtown Disney Springs, I think they call it now. Yep. And saw a band. We went and saw him, His Infernal Majesty, and they were playing with a couple other people, and I didn't even feel like drinking that night. That's how they all start, right? All the other craziest ones. So we get there, and I have one beer, and I'm just going to have a beer and a shot. No, nothing else. Well, after that shot, I think we did like a redheaded slut or something. Mind you, there's only 3 of us, so it wasn't going to be a crazy night, we didn't think. At least I didn't think so. Concert's going to be over by 11, maybe we'll go to a bar afterwards. I don't know what happened with that shot, but then I switched to Jack and Coke. And the bartender there, Scott, I'll never forget Scott. Scott actually lives in the Sarasota area now. So I run into him occasionally, and he still brings this up. But they found out it was my birthday, and they looked at Mike and John, my 2 friends, and said, "Can we wreck him tonight?" And of course, they're in full support about it. They said, "Yeah, go ahead, wreck him." So they were giving me 16-ounce Jack and Cokes when they were only supposed to be giving me 10. And I drank almost an entire 5th in like an hour and a half.
Oh no!
I never left that bar. I would just set my empty glass on the bar, and I'd reach back a minute later, and it was full. People were coming up to me like after the first band. I had a real good buzz on at that point, and people are coming up like, "Why is there's this poor girl, whoever she is? If you out there and you remember this, I'm sorry." Comes up to me and she orders a Jack and Coke, and I just turned around and set my glass down. It got filled before her drink. She brings her drink back and goes, "Why is his bigger?" And I just looked at her and was like, "It's my fucking birthday. That's why." Now leave me alone, bitch. And she just kind of like had this like look of terror in her face. And so the next band comes on and they're playing, and I'm feeling real good. And we're standing by the back bar, and there's people walking in front of us to get to the other side of the venue and whatnot. And I have a hymn tattoo on my wrist. It's the Razor Blade Romance logo. And I'm looking at people, and I've liked this band since like 1996, 1997. This was mid 2000s. I think it was like 2007 or so. And I'm just grabbing people, and I'm like, "What do you know about 1997? You don't know shit about 1997." And people are just like staring at me. And John, who at the time was a corrections officer, my good friend John, goes, "If you want to get in a fight tonight, I got your back." Worst thing you could have possibly said to me, because then I was just kind of like looking for a fight. And I was never that guy. I worked security for bars for many years, and I never wanted to be the one that started a fight. But it'd be like maybe 10 people walk by, and the first person I'd be like, "Hey man, how you doing? Yeah, great show." But by halfway down the line of people, I'd be like, "97, what the fuck do you know about 1997? And by the last time, I was grabbing people and shaking them. So the
you were
main
serious.
Band, I was serious.
Yeah.
So finally, at the time I smoked cigarettes, I wanted to smoke a cigarette, and the main band came on, and him comes on, and they play their first song, and I'm all about it. I'm like, you know what? I got to pee. I need to smoke a cigarette. So I go to the bathroom, come out, and at the time, you could only smoke upstairs outside on the balcony up there. And I looked at the stairs, and I was way too drunk to try to make it upstairs. So I said, "You know what? I'm going out the front door, and I'm going to smoke a cigarette." I go out the front door, and they're like, "Hey, if you leave, you can't come back in." Fuck you. I don't want to be there anyways. So I left. And
your friends are inside still?
My friends are inside still.
Did you tell them you were going outside?
No. So finally, security comes and tells the bartender, "Hey, there's a big dude across the street, and he looks like he needs some help. Do you know if he's with anybody?" And Mike and John heard the story, and they said, "Oh, yeah, that's our buddy." So I vaguely remember them all standing on the front porch of the House of Blues, pointing across, and I think it was like I can't remember what. I think it was Disney Quest.
Disney Quest was right there.
Across the street.
Yeah.
I'm leaning against the wall at Disney Quest with my cell phone open. It was a flip phone. Sliding down the wall. And I'm yelling at families. So they're like, okay, we need to get him out of here. They pay the tab, which was $450.
Oh, no.
For 3 of us.
Wow.
That was after the House of Blues gave us a $150 comp.
Wow.
So I drank some booze. So John, being a corrections officer, basically wraps me up and goes to walk me to a cab. So him and Mike are kind of like stiff-arming me to the cab. And Mike's like, I'm going to go grab the cab, hold him. Well, John let go of me after Mike said hold him, and I face planted. So here I am, face down, head on the sidewalk, rocking back and forth on my knees.
You just fell straight forward?
Yeah, straight forward.
Yeah.
So
you break anything?
No.
Ah, lucky.
Nothing but my own spirits.
Well, that's,
and my pride.
I feel like that probably left the building a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm yelling at families at this point again. Kids are walking by with their families, and it's 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm yelling, this is why you don't drink. Don't look at me. Kid, what are you looking at? Just screaming at the top of my lungs. And John thought it was hilarious. Mike thought it was kind of funny. They put me in the cab, take me back to the hotel room, and literally just pushed me on the bed, and then they left and went to the bar. they basically left me for dead. So that was one of my most embarrassing moments. And I'm not too proud of it, but it definitely brings, every time I go back to downtown Disney to a concert or anything, I look for the same bartenders and security guards because a lot of them are still there. And I'm like, let's not talk about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But they always get me drunk, so it is
well,
what it is.
You didn't do anything to get banned, so there you go.
I thought I would have,
yeah.
But no. The security in downtown Disney was totally cool. But Amy, what about you? You got any drunk moments? Or Greg, does Amy have any drunk moments?
Oh yes, she does.
Okay, can you give us a little dirt here?
I can, sure.
What's a good one?
I'm just gonna tell about this one because she didn't do anything wrong. Things just
Thanks.
like they do in these situations, they just progress. So again, I'm just gonna go with the theme of Disney here. We went up we were going up there for one night. We were going up. This was 2 years ago. For it was one of the Christmas parties they do at the Magic Kingdom. We got a ticket for that. We were going to the Christmas party at the Magic Kingdom. But we went up earlier that day and went to Disney Springs, and we went to the Polite Pig that had just opened up, and they had.
We started with bourbon.
We started with. And they have some serious bourbon. They had some nice bourbon, and we got there probably at 1 p.m. No plans to go into the park until about 7 o'clock. So we're just sitting there drinking bourbon, probably for 4 or 5 hours. And then we get up and we're going. I was buzzed and drunk. We weren't driving. We were taking the bus over to the Magic Kingdom. Amy seemed fine, a little drunk, but we were fine. Get into the Magic Kingdom, everything fine. We're walking down Main Street. We're checking things out. It's really pretty. We went back into Frontierland or whatever, and we're getting ready to. I think we were going to go into the Country Bear Jamboree. They had like a Christmas show or something. It was something different.
That is tattooed on my leg.
Yes, it is. You're right. And
I remember it. I remember all of that. I remember feeling fine.
Well, you don't remember all of it because the next day she tells me, I don't remember that. She blacked out for about the first 30 minutes of walking into the Magic Kingdom. But we're both functional. We're nothing wrong. We get a phone call from, it was about 6:30 from Kids Are Kids, which was where one of our kids went to the after school program. Amy's mom was supposed to be picking her up. Amy's mom forgot. Totally uncharacteristic. It never happened before.
Never has she forgotten.
And she just forgot. Meanwhile, we're in Orlando. Lily's here. We're getting charged like $1 a minute, for the late pickup or whatever.
It ended up working out.
We're fine, but Amy was just beside herself, and at the stage of inebriation, I feel like she started crying in the middle of the Magic Kingdom. Like, I'm a bad mother. I screwed up. And I said, you didn't screw anything up. We planned all this out. Her sister ended up picking Lily up, so that was that. But
at least the kid got picked up.
That's not terrible. I've got much worse stories about myself.
So Amy, why don't you tell us a story about Greg?
Let's think.
I'm not embarrassed to tell my own stories.
No, but
all right. Well,
you have so many college stories from drinking too I think might be way better than any.
I'll tell you about the one time at Calusa.
Any adult ones I could think of.
One time at Calusa.
If you want to hear it.
Say, why do I not remember this?
Oh, you do.
Oh, I do remember it? Okay. I was probably mad at you.
So, Angry Chair was doing a kind of a tap takeover at
Mr. Beery's.
No, it's on Main Street here in Lakewood Ranch. What's that? The Craft Growlers.
Craft Growlers to go.
I know this story.
Justin Ullman came down as Angry Chair's representative, and the place was crowded. It was packed, just crazy packed. It was raining hard outside and just crazy packed. We went there, met some friends there, and just sitting around talking. And Justin was finishing up, and it was about 8 o'clock, and I said, "Do you want to go down to Calusa? Go grab a drink. You've never been down there before. Amy's going to go home. Why don't you drive me down there, and I'll just get an Uber back or whatever." Well, we didn't end up leaving Craft Growlers until about 10 o'clock. Well, we ended up getting to Calusa about 10 o'clock. They were getting ready to close, but Jordy was there, Bernie was closing up the bar, and I introduced him to Justin. And what transpired after that was we didn't end up leaving Calusa until about 2:30 in the morning. It was just me, Justin Ullman, Jordy, and Bernie, just drinking the whole time. Anyway, I ended up getting home, took Uber home or whatever. Amy was so mad at me, and I just kept professing to her that I am going to get up and go for a run with you in the morning. But meanwhile, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning already.
He did it.
I got up at 6. And how far did we go? 6 miles?
Something like that.
It was like the worst. I don't think I drank for 3 weeks after that. It was awful.
I understand that completely. I remember I drank too much, again, Jack Daniels. Actually, it wasn't Jack Daniels. My brother's 10 years older than me. And growing up, he would, come and stay at the house or something after my parents would go on vacation or something like that. And I was, mid-teens, and they knew I was going to have a party, but they wanted somebody there. My brother was usually the one buying me the beer. But him and his buddies showed up one night, and he was having a party at my parents' house. I think they were maybe 26, 27 at the time, so I'm 16, 17 years old. And they all drank Jack Daniels, and they had me drinking it. And they were getting low on the Jack, so they started mixing Sambuca and Captain Morgan's together and giving me shots of it. And we were playing high or low, little card game. And I was definitely losing. I don't think I even saw the cards at some points. But I remember doing a shot, and they said, literally all I remember is doing the shot, but they said my eyes rolled to the back of my head. I projectile vomited all over the table, walked through a screen door outside to finish vomiting, did that, and then I walked up 2 flights of stairs to the 3rd floor and passed out in my bed. Woke up the next morning. We all went to breakfast. I wasn't hungry. I didn't know any better. They're like, "You should eat. You really need to eat." I just want a glass of orange juice. You know what happens when you add acid to an already acidic stomach? You throw up again. So it was the roughest time ever, and I didn't drink for a long time after that. Probably until I was closer to 21 at that point. So.
That'll do it to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was not fun.
I had a minute to brainstorm. I remember a pretty good blackout story.
Oh, beautiful.
So this was when I was in the military.
I love when they say, "I remember a blackout story."
Well, that you were told.
I remember what I was told. Yes. Yes. So again, this was military, so I was 20 years old. We were 6 hours away from Vegas where we were stationed. So we went to Vegas with my friend Aaron.
A little closer to the mic.
A little closer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But so I'm 20 years old, and we go to Vegas, and we got a room at the Circus. Then we went down to the casino. It was New York, whatever it is there, and I ordered a double. And I remember drinking it and saying, "This isn't strong. Like you're ripping us off, dude. Like pour me a real double." So he started giving us some good, strong drinks, and I remember having a few of those, and then we were done with our tab, and I looked at it, I was like, $60? Damn, like, what were you charging me? So you were asking for double, so that's what you got. And all right. But I remember walking back to the room, getting to the room, and just seeing my bed and just laying face first on the foot of the bed. That's the last thing I remember. I woke up and I had the sheets on me, and I was feeling how soft the sheets were. I was like, wow, these sheets are soft, and they're soft everywhere. I'm naked. Oh, shit. And Erin, she's coming out of the restroom at this point, and she had her bed, I had my bed, and totally nothing, was supposed to go on between her and I. And I'm like, hey, Erin, what happened last night? And she said, what do you mean? Well, what happened? She said, we went out drinking. Right, but you and me, like, she said, what do you mean, you and me? Did we? No, God, no. Okay, good. So where are my clothes? And they're in a pile in the corner of the bathroom, soaking wet.
Yeah.
Huh. How did that happen? You don't remember? No. The last thing I remember was laying on the bed. And I guess, according to her, after I laid on the bed, I fell off the bed, got up, went running, hit the wall, slammed back off the wall, and did that about 4 times. Just kept on standing up, going for a run, and hitting the wall every time. From there, I decided I'd put an entire can of Copenhagen long cut in my mouth at once.
Oh.
Been there.
She said, you threw up. I was like,
yeah.
I never throw up from drinking. Like, what do you mean? She said, no, it was Copenhagen. You put the entire can in. And so where did I throw up? And she told me the drawer.
Oh,
and
no.
Once I got dressed, I did open the drawer, and sure enough, there's just vomit and Copenhagen just in the top drawer. I'm like, oh, shit. All right.
You probably swallowed a handsome amount of
Probably,
the Copenhagen
yeah.
also.
And at this point, it's still, okay, I was clothed still, right? She says, yeah. Then what else happened? And she said, well, then you decided that the people outside at 5 a.m. were being too noisy. So you decided to throw room service trays at them. And just as she said that, I had this flashback of almost falling out of a window. And I vaguely remember that. And I was like, tell me more. And this is the third story or second story of Circus, so their windows shouldn't be able to open. But I got them open, and sure enough, there's knives and forks stuck in the lawn outside of our window, and a tray and some broken glasses. And yeah, so I was throwing stuff at people saying, shut up, it's 5 a.m, go to sleep, what's wrong with you people? And then I decided to take a bath with my clothes on.
My Disney story ended up with me taking a shower after my friends had left me for dead in the thing, and I woke up the next morning. And I was just wearing like gym shorts. I woke up. I was like, I want to change clothes, and I go to like open my bag, and everything in my bag was soaked because I took my clothes off and stuffed them in my bag. So I completely understand where you're coming from with that.
And I got in the bathtub and turned it on, and that was the last time she saw me. She said, "You're going to drown, motherfucker. I'm going to go to bed. Good night." Good friend. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking out. That's why we don't have nice things. Oh, man. Yeah, it's wonderful stuff. I see Diana over there. Do you want to swing over here and then talk a little bit more about Naughty Monk real quick? I see her. She's running. When I say running, she's really just speed walking. She's doing that.
She's moving quickly.
Another
yes, absolutely.
Quick drunk story. I broke the key off in my front door one night coming home, and I couldn't get it out. And I didn't. I thought Amy had her keys, but she'd left her purse over at our friend's house.
Oh no!
So this was the night the Uber driver saw us waiting and turned around and left us.
He's like, no, they're not getting in my
Pretty
Uber.
much,
Which
was probably a solid choice because Amy's sister picked us up and there was vomit in the back of her car.
Oh, so lovely. At least you didn't have to pay for the Uber to get cleaned, right? It was just Amy's sister's car.
I was out there cleaning it out.
I need to have my mom on one of these shows to talk about her New Year's Eve vomiting experience when my dad's like, would you roll down the window if you're going to vomit? And he never slowed down at 60 miles an hour, so it just all blew back in the window.
Oh, no.
I remember them coming home that night, and like my mom's eyes were all like stuck open. She couldn't sleep because they were all just covered in vomit. The next morning, I went out and looked at the car, and it was all down the side of the car and over the headboard of the car. And
your mom's going to kill you for this.
Yeah, well, they used to do shots. It's good family friends would have a crazy New Year's Eve party every year, and they would do shots of root beer schnapps starting at about 9 o'clock every half hour.
Oh.
And then my mom, after a few, would just drink everybody else's that didn't do one.
Oh.
So I come from a party background, let's just put it that way. Diana, thank you for jumping on for a second.
Hey, thank you for
and
inviting me.
Get a little closer to the microphone if you could.
Okay.
Perfect. Tell me a little bit about how Naughty Monk became a vision in your mind and how you guys got started a little bit.
Well, my husband and I started out as home brewers. So we started brewing on the stove, kind of like probably most home brewers, and then graduated to the garage and then to a bigger system. And to make a long story short, over about a couple years of home brewing, people kept saying, your beers are really good. We'd buy these if you packaged them, and you should maybe open a brewery. And I mean, we had that wasn't our intention when we started home brewing. We were just playing around. But after a while, we kind of started thinking about it, and my husband looked at me and he says, well, either we go big or we go home. So we gathered up some finances and started looking for a location, and we didn't know we'd end up in Lakewood Ranch in a big facility like this. We figured we'd open a little small industrial park kind of area like most of the breweries that we knew of and been around visiting throughout the U.S. And we just happened to cross this place, and here we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys have been here almost 3 years now. I know that you said November 16th will be your 3-year anniversary party.
Correct.
And that's fantastic. Looking forward to being a part of that. Now, when it comes to not just the beers here, Curtis did talk about quite the beers and stuff that are coming out and stuff ready for that. What other events do you guys do here? Do you guys have live music or anything like that?
We do. We do live music every other Thursday night, and then we have the other Thursday nights we do open mic night, which is really fun. People come in and they bring their instruments, and we've had a couple people get up and do some comedy or some poetry. We had a guy got up and did poetry one
Very
night.
Cool.
So just if whatever somebody feels like doing. So that's every other Thursday. And Friday nights we have live music. Saturday nights we have live music. As season picks back up, we'll start it on Sunday afternoons as well again. And we do trivia on Wednesday nights. Once a month we do a themed trivia. This next Wednesday is going to be our Friends trivia, which has turned out to be quite popular apparently.
So is the Friends one that you've done before, or is this a first-time thing?
First time. Yeah, we've done something new each time. So trying to keep it mixed up and fresh and having fun. So
absolutely, I know there's quite a few people that do trivia now are kind of doing those themed trivias. I know I've seen Seinfeld, I've seen Friends before, Bob's Burgers, I've seen
Harry Potter,
Simpsons.
We did Harry Potter. Yeah, we did Star Wars. I think and Marvel Comics, that kind of stuff.
It's crazy how many people come out for those too.
Oh yeah,
how many nerds there really are out there in this world.
Oh, we're packed when that happens.
That doesn't suck.
No, it doesn't suck.
At least the electric bill's getting paid that day.
Yeah.
So.
And then we do food trucks usually Thursday through Sunday. We have those on premise, and we got some cool stuff coming up in September.
I know. I spoke with Ray from Mouthful Barbecue the other day, and he'd mentioned something about September 11th. You guys are doing a big bike thing here?
We are. We're doing the 14th annual 911 Remembrance Ride in remembrance of all the people that lost their lives and are still dealing with things due to that tragedy.
Now, what kind of turnout do you expect for that?
They're telling me probably about 300 bikes.
That's incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so we're going to be the starting point. They'll come here, hang out for a couple hours, and then get their lineup ready, and then they'll take off.
Well, anybody out there that wants to be a part of it, obviously, I'm sure they can come by that day on their bikes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
It'll be a wonderful event. Definitely want to maybe cycle back around to that. I mean, I can't believe September is just around the corner.
No, 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This year has gone. I mean, granted, I did spend most of this beginning of this year incapacitated, if you will.
Yeah, but you're back.
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back, and nothing's going to keep me down. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
But, Diana, when you're not drinking beer, what else do you like to? What other libations do you like to drink?
I like wine.
Wine?
Yeah, during the summer I like light white wines, but yeah, beer and wine's it. I don't do any of the other stuff. No heavy liquor.
I know Amy
None of those root beer shots.
You guys had mentioned bourbon. Are you both into the bourbon scene, like the local bourbons and stuff like that, or the bourbon in general?
Bourbon, yeah.
I went to school at the University of Kentucky, and I more or less in college sampled probably more than I should have. But yeah,
quote unquote sampled.
Yeah. I mean, like back when like things like Pappy sat on shelves, like there was just no real rush to get any of that stuff. So anyway, I like bourbon. Yeah,
I'm not opposed. Actually, my parents' dog, his name is Bourbon.
Yeah.
And his registered name is All Around's Last Call Woodford Reserve on the Rocks. But I tried to call him Woody when he was at pub, and nobody let me do that. So, let's do a little getting to know you quiz. All right. And Curtis, if you want to jump in and try to talk on the microphone a little bit too.
All right.
I know you can hear me, so it'll be all right.
I can hear all of you.
Perfect. It's weird. It's weird having ears and stuff, right? All right. So we're going to go around. Does anybody grow up playing video games or at all?
Yes.
A little bit? Nintendo or Xbox? What would
Growing
you prefer?
Up?
In general.
Or now?
Yeah. Just one or the other.
Nintendo.
Nintendo?
I didn't play video games. My son liked Xbox.
Xbox.
I really did not play either. A little bit of Mario Kart, but that's about it.
Gotcha.
Oh, it was Nintendo. I'm like a kid of the 80s. It was Nintendo.
Actually, right when I was getting ready to get out of the hospital, I bought one of those little, like, the new Nintendos with, like,
Minis.
the 40 games on it. Yeah, the minis on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not going to be able to do anything when I get home for a while.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's all the old, fun, original NES games.
yeah, so literally the wife and I have been doing nothing but playing Nintendo when we get bored at night. She's like, instead of, like, watching TV, she's like, can we play Mario? Or
That's awesome.
She's really into Dr. Mario. She beats Dr. Mario all the time.
Dr.
We
Mario.
also played Mario Kart a lot.
I said that.
And we're geeking out on, like, we're finishing up season 3 of Star Trek: The Next Generation right now, so...
Oh, I love it. I've never watched it.
I've seen it all
so.
already,
Oh,
but
wow.
that's the kind of nerddom you're dealing with over
You know,
here.
that was actually one of my last questions.
Oh, sorry. I
So,
screwed
no,
up.
it's kind of awesome. All right, when it comes to beer, bottles, cans, or draft, Curtis?
Free.
Free beer?
I'll take anything. Yeah.
That's his standard answer. Yeah. Me, I like draft.
Draft?
Cans.
Cans?
I'll take cans or draft. Yeah.
Now, cans because you like to shotgun them, or just,
No. They're
just for the
they're-
quality of the beer inside?
It's not even the quality. I like generally the size components of it. I like the portability. You can take it. You know, there's no glass. You can take it to the beach. Not that I'm going to the beach, but there's those kind of things.
Yeah,
And I would
fantastic.
prefer some higher ABV, like imperial stouts and stuff like that, to come in smaller to go formatting.
Okay.
I'm just tired of like 750s, and I can't drink all that. I don't
I know
want to
there's
drink all that.
something that Brew Life did with their anniversary beer last year.
Exactly.
You
That
know,
was
and
perfect.
They did the 8-ounce cans.
Yes.
And they wanted you to
That is
open it.
perfect.
You know, have one now, have one in 3 months, have one in 6 months, have one in a year.
Yep, I
and,
thought
you
it was a
know,
great idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you know, and you just get enough to taste, and
Yep.
I think that's perfect, especially when you're having a big, heavy beer like that.
No, I mean 8 ounces. That's all I need. I don't need any more than that.
Need or want.
Those
Two different things,
are
too, though.
different questions.
Totally different things. All right. I'm sure we all have had pizza in our days. Favorite pizza topping? Or toppings?
Pineapple.
Pineapple?
Yeah.
I like
Boo.
white pizza for me.
White pizza?
This is going to be an unpopular.
Gross.
I don't love pizza.
Nope.
Like, I would choose wings, a burger, anything,
Okay.
like my whole life
It is
over
a
pizza.
giant bone of contention in our house.
But I do like ham and pineapple.
Okay.
I'm just going to basic it up here with pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
Yeah.
Ground
That's,
beef.
you know,
But I am serious about my pizza. Like, I have,
Yeah.
like, my favorite pizza places.
yeah, well, you have to.
Yes.
And one thing I've learned about Florida is there's not really a great one.
I would agree with that.
There's a lot of good ones, but not a great one.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand that. Now, when it comes to pineapple on pizza, obviously that's a big debate with a lot of people. My rules about pizza are always no fish, no fruit. And now it's come to the point where I'm like, I'll have pineapple on it, but it's got to have bacon and jalapenos on it, too.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
I can order some
out.
jalapenos.
I would do that. I would
It
do
works
that.
out. All right. Non-alcoholic beverage. What's your favorite there, Curtis?
Water.
Water?
Yeah.
Water.
I'm a big coffee person. Coffee and hot tea. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's coffee or... I'm not a soda drinker, but I do like Sprecher soda.
Sprecher here
Yeah.
and there,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm a cold coffee person. I like cold brew coffee. I've gotten away from that. The hot coffee. I used to drink coffee every morning.
Yeah.
I've gotten away from that. Now every Saturday the wife wakes up. She goes and she cold brews all the time during the week. And she's like, "Can we go out for a coffee treat?" So we go to Dunk's or someplace like Bandit Coffee up in
Sure.
St. Pete because we live up there.
Yep.
And just get a cold
Bandit's
brew.
great.
And, no, it's fantastic.
Yep.
Favorite childhood cartoon? Did you watch cartoons as a kid?
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Roadrunner.
Roadrunner, absolutely.
Ooh.
Punky Brewster.
I do recall Punky Brewster, but what I remember
really
the most,
cartoon.
I think, is watching the Disney movies.
Disney movies.
Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. Well, at least that's what
What's your
stands out.
favorite Disney movie?
Oh, that's hard.
No, it's not.
I really like Beauty and the
There you
Beast
go.
a
Beauty
and
lot.
the Beast.
It's that.
Yeah.
That's that
Yeah.
one. What about you, Greg?
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man?
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely. I was a DuckTales guy.
Oh, DuckTales
Oh,
was
yeah.
great.
DuckTales,
Yep.
and of course I like G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtles was. I actually had like the video. Like I remember Burger King would give like little like 15-minute episodes on VHS if you ordered like kids meals and stuff. So I had a couple of those that I used to watch religiously all the time.
I guess I just really dated myself, huh?
No, when it comes to the normal Looney Tunes, like
Looney
none
Tunes
of
were
those.
great.
Yeah,
Looney Tunes was fantastic.
Those are one of those you gotta love them.
Yeah,
They were like dirty adult too. Also, they were.
You know,
all the kids
I
are
go back and watching them now, and I'm like, especially Bugs Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, he was sexy. But there's so many things, like the references and stuff, when I go back and watch, especially Bugs Bunny videos, it's like, wow, they were really touching. And I remember when I was probably like 12 or so, there was Animaniacs had come out.
Yeah.
And if you go back and watch that, I know it was on Netflix or something. If you go back and watch episodes of that, the pop culture and stuff that they covered in that was even crazier, and they were definitely pushing limits for a child's cartoon. It was definitely like an adult cartoon. It's like watching Bob's Burgers or Family Guy now, but it was more kid directed.
Sure.
So it's kind of crazy.
I look at like Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
All the underlying adult.
Pixar does that all the time. Yeah.
That's just a Pixar thing.
All the underlying adult theme.
Yeah.
Paper, plastic, or reusable bags.
I would probably go with no bags. I would much rather just carry what I have.
I have a trunk full of reusables.
Reusable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's good all the way around. I do the reusable things unless I'm stupid and I forget to bring them. But then I go paper because we compost everything, so I just put them in there. Favorite movie?
The Matrix. The
Matrix?
original.
They're in production for number 4. Did you see that? Yeah. I hope it's good.
I like Lion King.
Lion
That's
King?
a great movie.
It's a great movie. It really is.
We're gonna go a little darker over here. I like The Godfather.
Okay. Like horse heads in your bed. Gotcha.
She just likes Martin Scorsese. Is what
I
she
do.
likes.
So you like
Yeah.
Scorsese in general?
Yes.
Scorsese films.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm a huge Tarantino fan, so I understand
Yes.
that. So, who just had a baby? Congratulations to Quentin Tarantino. He's never going to hear this, but congratulations. Or is pregnant, I should say.
He's not pregnant.
Well, his better half.
Yes.
Is.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tarantino. I Pulp Fiction for my money is
I'm
the
a big
best thing
Coen
I've seen on
Brothers
film.
fan too.
That's a good one.
The Big Lebowski is probably a movie I've seen
that's great.
100,000
That's a great
times.
movie.
But
Fight Club.
Fight Club is another great one. Little guilty pleasure. I'm a Top Gun fan, and I could watch that movie a million times.
You and a million other people, man, or more than that.
Yeah,
That's a good movie.
but at the same time, I think my favorite movie of all time is all 3 of the Back to the Futures. I'm a huge Back to the Future trilogy guy.
Man, those are fun movies.
And I even before Michael J. Fox got all shaky on us, he's still somebody that I look up to. And definly. I mean, I've even researched Hill Valley, and if it was a real place, what would be on like Main Street today? So, yeah, I'm that dork. Let's see, favorite music genre or band or musician.
Lately it'd be like the kind of, it's like a newer reggae style. So like
That dub style.
Not really dub, but there's a little dub to it. So like the Expendables.
Okay.
That was really cool. Got to see them at Oakenstone last year. So that kind of style.
Gotcha. A little reggae ska aspect of things.
Yeah, I'm kind of still stuck in the 80s. I like
Nothing
that
wrong
music.
with that.
There's nothing wrong with that at
I
all.
like that music.
Yeah.
It's my go-to, yeah.
Amy?
I think my go-to is probably early to mid '90s R&B.
Salt,
R&B.
Salt and
Salt and
pepper,
pepper.
definitely.
pepper.
Some TLC.
Some
yeah.
Keith Sweat.
Yes.
Keith Sweat's some belly rubbing music right there.
Yes.
That's some baby making music. Greg?
My formative years were in the 90s, so music is so different. I'm in the mood for different stuff depending on the situation and my mood and the
constantly
scenario,
changes.
scenario or the location you're at. But I like live music a lot, but I will gravitate toward the grunge from the 90s, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
You know, my favorite year in music is, well, I have 2. One is 1967, which is really random. But when it comes to the 90s, 1994 was the best best year for releases of music. If you out there Google 1994 album releases, you have Soundgarden, you have
Across multiple genres too.
Multiple genres.
Yep.
Pink Floyd, Division Bell was released that year. I mean,
didn't the Eagles going back on tour then? The Hell Freezes Over
I
tour
think that
year?
was 94. So, I mean, just there's so much across 1994 that if you Google albums that came out, you're going to be like, wow, that was the best year of music. I mean, hip hop scene You know, you had great.
The Chronic was out. Dre dropped that. And
all that stuff was coming out, and it's a good one. What is one of your musical guilty pleasures that people would look at you and be like, "Wow, you're singing this song right now"?
His name is Lobo.
Lobo?
Yeah, it's from I believe the '60s. But there's one song that he's got. It's like me and you and a dog named Boo.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Diana, guilty pleasure song?
I'd have to say Neil Diamond's "Sweet Caroline."
That's a great one.
I just love that song.
Everybody's got to sing along
I
with
mean,
that
I
one.
think it makes everybody happy, but you look like a dork when you're out there singing it.
Yeah. But everybody's singing with you, and if they're not, they're lying to you.
It's a classic bar song,
just,
you know?
Yeah, people look at you like, yeah, you're weird.
A karaoke song, yeah, for sure.
Amy? Guilty pleasure song.
I can't think of one song in particular.
Montel Jordan.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure because you listen to that regularly.
I do. I listen. I work alone, so I listen to a ton of music and a ton of podcasts, and I jump all over the place. But if Greg comes home and I'm listening to country music, which is not normal, but I will definitely be singing that to myself, even if I don't love it.
I say
like new country, old country,
a mix of just both. And I'm like, how do I know that song?
I went through my country phase. It's just not for me anymore. But whatever.
It's gotten too poppy for me. I like the old school country in the 90s and some of the early 2000s.
Country, like real old country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like we're talking like Conway Twitty and Patsy Cline. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's.
I'll sing some Taylor Swift, so that's a little.
That's a little guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure song or band or.
It's not even a guilty pleasure. I genuinely enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy the band Sister Hazel.
Mm-hmm. I like Sister Hazel.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. I did not expect that one.
It's very different for me, but if I'm driving in the car, it's particularly they've got an album out. It's a live album. It's just acoustic stuff.
It's really good.
I just love it, and it's just easy to listen to, and it makes me feel good. And we've seen them in concert multiple times.
Yes.
I've met most of the band members.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool. The original band has been together since, I don't know, 25 years. You don't see that in bands. You see that in like Bon Jovi and Aerosmith and stuff. But
yeah, exactly.
It's hard to stick together with people like that.
All right, last question.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not telling you.
BK, you told us a drunk story. You want to tell us a guilty pleasure? Come on.
All right. So I have a few. I'm a musician myself, so I listen to everything. But when it comes to my guilty pleasure, I will pretty much always sing a Paul Abdul song.
Yeah?
Something like that. 80s power ballads. I mean, all those.
Little Sister Christian?
Sister Christian is one of the ones on. That's like closer to number 10, not number 1.
Okay.
For me. But yeah, I'm a huge Whitesnake fan.
Oh, Heart is good too.
So and Heart's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Whitesnake is one of those guilty pleasure bands for me. So not crazy, not too crazy, but you know, then again you'll.
Here I Go Again on my own.
That's the worst song. That's the worst song.
That's the one that most people know.
That's the only one they play on the radio. I'm like, I love that album. Like, Still of the Night is probably my favorite one on that album, but I'm not even going to try. It's already singing in my head, and I'm not going there. So, yeah, last question. Favorite Netflix series or television series that you've watched? Or
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad?
Wonderful series. Like, perfect television.
Yeah.
Diana?
Actually, I'm watching one right now, like Merlin.
Merlin?
Yeah.
I think that was originally on NBC or something.
I like dragons and stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's a good
I
pickup.
think one of my all-time favorites is Dexter, but I'm really enjoying Star Trek more than I thought I would.
Let's be clear. It's the next generation. We'll be clear on that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay,
See?
Sheldon.
See?
No, pretty much.
I'm new
I'm
at this.
OCD about that.
Yeah.
I have hard opinions on who the real captain is.
On our way here,
It's Picard.
No. We were talking about how many levels were on the ship on the way here.
No, that was
was
the
a real
discussion
conversation
over how many
we were
levels are
having.
there on the Starship Enterprise? And I said, well, I haven't looked at the schematics lately
But we could
online,
probably look it up.
Greg, what's one of your guilty pleasure shows or favorite Netflix series or series in general?
I mean, we haven't had cable in 5-6 years. It's streaming stuff all the time. So, which I'm looking at it now, like the price is getting back close to cable now. What we're paying
By
for.
the time you pay for
a
everything.
la carte.
Yeah, but it's better.
No,
Feels better.
It's a lot. We watch a lot of the same stuff. You know what I don't watch? She lied to you about her guilty pleasure. Also,
I did.
It's the Real Housewives series.
Oh wow!
No, it's not.
That means it is. That means it is.
I would say half the week.
I will have it on in the background
Yes.
sometimes.
We're gonna have a domestic.
But But no, Star Trek: The Next Generation. We're into that right now. That's all we really have been watching. Besides, I'm a big football guy. I like the HBO series Hard Knocks.
Okay,
that's
I like that too.
If I had to stick with one television channel the rest of my life, it would be HBO. I just think they kill it. I love.
They put out a lot of good content.
Succession is really good right now. I know people were divided on the ending of Game of Thrones. I enjoyed the whole series. I thought I liked it.
I've never seen a single episode, so I couldn't tell you.
That's okay.
Yeah, I liked Game of Thrones too.
I heard wonderful things about it. I've read a couple of the books, but I haven't jumped into the series yet. So that's on the list. We'll see what happens.
I haven't finished it, so don't spoil it.
I say nothing.
I think one of my all-time favorites is MASH.
Oh, Matt, the movie or the series? The series?
Both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah, I love the movie, but the series itself is one of those ones that I've been doing it at home during the day. I just throw it on while I'm doing whatever around the house, and I've seen every episode probably 6 or 7 times. But yeah, MASH is definitely one of those for me as a favorite of all time. But well, that about wraps up for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being on. Diana, Curtis, Amy, Greg. Where can we find Naughty Monk on social media?
We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter.
Is it just at Naughty Monk or at Naughty Monk
Naughty
Brewing?
Monk.
At Naughty Monk. Amy, where can we find Create Bakery?
Same. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Create Bakery and Gifts.
All right, fantastic. Greg, we don't want to see you on facial media.
Yeah, but I'm there.
That works.
We don't want to see your face on social media, but you are there.
But I'm there.
What is it? What is your Instagram name?
Beers and Beards.
Beers and Beards, because he is the bearded half of Create Bakery. And of course, you guys can follow. You guys can find BSN on Facebook and Instagram at BSN Podcast, on Twitter at BSN with BK, and you can always email me at bsnwithbk@gmail.com. If you guys like the intro song, that was Hale Dale's song Salvador, and we'll leave you with one of my old band's tracks called Here Lies a Soul. Thank you guys so much for being here and being on the episode, and hopefully we'll bring you all back soon. Cheers.
Cheers.